Hi Scorpio, here's a general look at your solar chart for February 2012. Now, the focus will probably be more around your base of operations or Earth base of operations, or you'll have more of your attention on your inner life, on your memories, on your past, or it might not be that, it might be family members or extended family or a tribe or a community which you inhabit, or like a neighborhood, like a local neighborhood. And of course nowadays that can be across the world, because it can be over the wires as well, your community, your tribe, your neighborhood. Property matters might be a feature for some of you. Until mid-month your gaze will tend to be more inwards, and you may be pondering feelings, or emotions can be more sensitive at times. Parents might be having an influence, or you may be dipping into your own history or past experience and seeing parallels in the present in some way. Some of you could be sensing a more ancient, wiser part of yourself, maybe contemplating traditions or a legacy of some kind. So however it is for you, emotions might be a little bit nearer the surface. You're feeling more sensitive, you're harking back to the past a little bit, but you're very much in the awareness of what's going on around you on a kind of heart level, or in fact around property, around a location, around a place on the map. But this is a good time for you to sort out how you're feeling about things which are close to your heart. So give yourself the space to listen to what your wisdom is telling you, or trying to sort of show you. Now Mercury is going to be at the root of your solar chart until mid-month. That means it could be very busy and bustly. So having said all of that about, the inwardness of this, you are really going to have to fight maybe sometimes to get some calm, where there's not a phone ringing or a computer Skype thing going off, or people around. Or maybe it's not that. Maybe it's just your own thoughts that you can't get control of. But which you could get control of if you try. The indication is that there's going to be a lot of information exchange maybe, or movement, or travel, or discussions, or influences around you anyway, right in your own backyard. Or it might be related to property, family, community. But generally Mercury here points to a busier time, more comings and goings within the locality, and and more introspection as well. Another way it can work is that it also means that you could be working from home and connecting with others in a very busy sort of information orientated way over the wires. So very much anyway centered around the home environment and the base of operations until mid-month. So it might not be your actual home, it might be another base, you see. And then from mid-month, more entertainment could be had out of daily encounters. You're not going to be so inward, you're going to be more outward and sort of fun-loving, ready to party maybe a little bit. There's a practical slant to this as well. So there's this playfulness, but also you're going to feel from mid-month kind of more creative and more fun or orientated, or maybe more up for a challenge or a gamble, or an adventure of some kind. Now for some of you that's going to put the focus more on lovers, kind of romance, or upon children, or animals, but your mind could be very much, and discussions and ideas could be very much centered around these, or in fact you are interacting very much on a mental level with these sorts of people, and game playing as well. Could be a feature when Mercury moves from mid-month. Until the 8th, things to make you smile should not be too far away, though. Venus is in a very playful area, which hints that daily encounters should be kind of fun and maybe a little bit romantic, or maybe not that, maybe just spontaneous, and you have more access maybe to entertainment, and you feel more enthusiastic. Some of you could be sharing admiring glances to somebody. Somebody could feel some of you could feel center stage for another reason. Good for promotional type activities. Laughs and friendly sharing along the way. You feeling more valued in general. From the 8th, teamwork then. This practical slant coming in. Teamwork is highlighted, but a relationship could be very much centered around a working sort of environment. You'll probably be in a kind of cooperative frame of mind. You want to be a practical help, but also others around will. You're connecting with others around in this kind of in this environment with this practical slant, either to do with employment, either to do with daily chores, or kind of a health orientated environment. So having more to do with health providers, maybe some of you, co-workers, anyone providing a service, but also you very much socializing within that service providing sort of environment. And even a romantic encounter could be blossoming in an environment which is very, very much to do with basic practical stuff, or learning stuff, you say, or teaching stuff. The group dynamic is going to be very strongly emphasized in your solar chart for several months to come, due to the fact that Mars is going to be in that area there until July. And so activities with friends, or making new friends or acquaintances, or acquaintanceships will be centered around the sort of professional area, or maybe you're just hanging out with a new circle of people. This Mars stimulation has been here since November. So physical energy will tend to go into your team collaborations, team-like collaborations, or maybe it's a club of some kind, or maybe it's a little group of people that meet because you have an interest in common of some kind. Maybe it's over the wires, because this is very much to do with all of that type of technology, where Mars is going to be for you for these several months. You could feel a little bit overloaded at times with all the stuff you know you have to do for other people, or some kind of common cause that you know that you've got to play your part, you've got to support. Information technology, networking, discussion forums, blogs and the like, you know, they're all very emphasized, but also anything scientific, anything a little bit off the wall and unconventional, that is also likely to be stimulated by the Mars energy. But the Mars energy here is, by the time the transit's over, you will have made yourself a new friend or two, because it's very strong on that socializing kind of vibration. Now, Mars loves to initiate things. It doesn't like to wait around for others to give instructions. So actually you might get flung into a position where others are looking to you for direction, and you've got to be the one that sort of takes control, or is in the lead in some way or another. Now, having said all that, actually over February and March, Mars is going to be retrograde, and that's just going to slow it down and mute its energy. It may mean that you feel it's hard to get everyone pulling together, you know, in the way that you think they should. You feel that others are maybe holding things up. But remember, division leads to weakness. So anyway, from April, things should start to fall into place, and you really do realize that once everything is balanced out, and maybe you're not being too dominant, because the thing about Mars here is it can mean that even without meaning to, you come across to others as being less patient, or more assertive, or demanding in some way. So anyway, from April onwards, things should start to fall into place. You feel as though there really is a strength in numbers, as long as everybody's pulling, you know, and pulling in the same direction, or putting in, pooling whatever it is for their contribution, whatever I'm talking about here, and whether it's an organisation which is kind of a formal one or an informal one, or maybe it's over the wires, or anyway, maybe you just underestimated how it can all fall into place previously, and now you're seeing how it can work. From the 19th, there's a lighter, more outgoing, yet still very practical vibration around. Now, this month I'm not going to speak about the slow-moving outer planets, but I'm going to mention Neptune. If you want to know about how the outer planets could be affecting your solar chart, then just go to my website, because it's all written down there, or just listen to the forecast I did for the whole 2012, the second part. It should be in the second part. But anyway, Neptune is the news this month, and Neptune has been in one area of your solar chart since 1998. And Neptune there may have sometimes caused uncertainty about where on the map, or who with on the map you really belong. Where is your place? Who do you belong with? And then it may have been that you felt like a fish out of water, or alienated from where you've been. Maybe there's been uncertainty about an environment you've been in where you felt a bit floaty and you haven't actually been able to sort of solidly find your place. There may have been uncertainty around parents, particularly the father side of parents, or some kind of feeling of loss of security, or loss of emotional security over this very, very long time, since 1998. Being on or near water might have been more likely, or in fact it would have been advisable as well, because there may have been an appeal there with Neptune at the root of your chart, Neptune being the god of the sea. And also Neptune being the ruler of any sort of private, spiritual, mystical kind of retreat type space, or artistic space. So maybe you would have been more drawn towards that, or more drawn towards providing a safe sanctuary space for others as well. But it would have been very important to draw the line, a very strong boundary line, about your private space, because it would have been ever so easy for that to have gotten trodden all over by having people too close in, or noise, or just not having to sacrifice your space in some way. This is the thing about Neptune here, and maybe being on the receiving end of some kind of favour from time to time, and having to feel grateful for that, or whatever. But also another thing about Neptune here is it might have made you more compassionate and sympathetic and emotionally there for other people. Now, Neptune's about to leave there, and it's going into the next sign, Pisces, a fellow water sign, on February the 4th, and it will be there until 2025. So this is going to be a whole new cycle for you. And all of that sort of those issues about space and about privacy will just seem to kind of dissolve away. And it's such a long transit, this new place that Neptune's going to be in. There's, I will be coming back to this, but basically Neptune is going to be in a stunningly good angle to your sun sign, and you early Scorpions are going to be feeling it. I mean, you very early Scorpions, born in the first couple of days, or the first couple of degrees rising. It's a really fab aspect to your sun sign, so I mean it'll unfold slowly as it kind of really gets into gear, but it could mean that you are able to use your personal charisma to attract good things towards you, good people towards you. It could feel like an impossible dream is beginning to come true. You've got to believe it, because you can see it happening, but don't lose your nerve, as it were, and just keep your feet on the ground. It could mean that, however, still, even though it's in a very good aspect to your sun sign, that if it quacks like a duck and looks like a duck, then probably it is a duck. but you'll probably be able to work that out and to sort that out, because the thing about Neptune is it often distorts our perception, but in this very, very good angle to your sun sign, it's more likely that you'll be able to kind of suss that one. It could mean with Neptune here over this long time that you want to make your services available to others in a kind of healing way, or a spiritual way, or also in a way which allows them to have entertainment, which helps them with their sense of empowerment. You know, you're a facilitator for that. Also, you could have more connection with children in a service-orientated sort of environment for children, or in fact with your own children, young ones, animals, and there could be, you know, your imagination working there, and romance. A romance could really take off, but just beware of the rose-tinted spectacles, because Neptune has a horrible habit of showing you things which are, you know, making them all glittery, but actually scrape the surface and it's kind of, you know, base metal underneath. But yeah, a tendency to put people on a pedestal, but once again, because it's in this very, very strong aspect to your sun sign, a very positive aspect, you're less likely to do that. So yes, you early Scorpios or Scorpio rising are going to feel that mostly this month. Well, that's it. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, you might like to listen to forecasts for those and see if they make any sense to you. And I will see you the next time.